Welcome back to Games Revealed. I'm James and also the Brink, and we are one community today. Yes, you read it right on the title. The Steam Deck 2 is not coming out today, this year, next year. It's coming out potentially around 2025, 2026 is at least what Pierre says from the Verge interview that they did. And honestly, I'm a little disappointed, and I really do think a refresh in a more PC hardware-esque way would be nicer than a console way. So let's talk about that today. But before we do that, make sure to like, subscribe, bash that bell with your crowbar if you have not done so. And let's mosey on over. So first up, let's just read what Pierre has mentioned about this, because it's not out of the blue. This is nothing that we were not expecting in a lot of ways. It is still a little disappointing, and I get where they're coming from, but I do have a lot to say on this. Let's hear what Pierre has to say, because honestly, that's what matters the most. It's important, quote, to us that the deck offers a fixed performance target for developers and that the message to customers is simple, where every deck can play the same games. As such, changing the performance level is not something we take lightly, and we only want to do so when there is a significant enough increase to be had. We also don't want more performance to come at significant cost to power efficiency and battery life. I don't anticipate such a leap to be possible in the next couple of years, but we're still closely monitoring innovations in architectures, fabrication processes to see where things are going there. So, it's going the console route, which no surprise, but it's this really weird world that the Steam Deck is caught between, right? We've got the console world over here, and we've got the PC gaming world. We have PC games that we're able to run on our PCs, all different flavors of them. And then we're trying to bring it over to a console-like experience, partially because it's so small, so limited in its performance that it needs to be tweaked. And we've seen that this year. Starfield alone was not running well when it first came out, but because of the 3.5 update and the GPU driver updates that were in that, it increased the performance for Starfield. Starfield could be played if you use the potato mod and potentially some other tweaks, because it's not the most optimized game, but it had to be optimized like a console in order for Starfield to be played. With all the evidences and all the different things that are happening this year, we can see where Pierre is coming from. I still disagree, and my opinion is a little different, but I'm not the one that's building it. This is just what I would like as a consumer and also as an enthusiast. So with games coming out, I don't think that they're going to become less buggy in the next couple of years. I mean, they could. We've seen potentially like The Last of Us, Redfall, they failed to perform in numbers, I believe. Redfall especially. There was performance issues, but there's a lot of other issues with that. But it's just the optimizations for AAA titles that are coming out doesn't seem like the deck can keep up. But who knows? Maybe Valve will hit that really sweet spot of just once they get a couple more pieces optimized, because what they're optimizing is API integrations, partially, DirectX and other pieces that are going to be translated over. Maybe we'll get to a point where we're going to hit a nice sweet spot where most games are going to just run fine and run better than on Windows because it's just so highly optimized. I mean, this is a win for PC gaming no matter what. But I don't know. Like, I have the ROG Ally, and I really do think it can play every AAA title that I've thrown at it. Maybe there's one or two out there that can't play, but I've been really surprised performance-wise. Yes, do I have to run sometimes the TDP pretty much maxed out and have to have it plugged in? Of course. But you know what? It's still a smooth experience because of that VRR, and it's really nice. I have to admit, having multiple options is nice, but the Steam Deck is not the same thing as the ROG Ally. I think we could see more refreshes of the ROG Ally and these other handheld devices coming out more than the deck. Valve is going the console route. I have a feeling that all these other devices are going to go the PC hardware route. Refreshes every year or two. I mean, Asus does a lot of laptops, and they refresh about every year or two, or depending on parts that are coming out. So Valve is not going to be doing that. They want big boosts like Nintendo. And I'm just curious to see if that's going to win out. Now, Pierre also mentioned in the interview that screen and battery are the top pain points, and a lot of the designers, a lot of the people over there working on this say is that's the pain points. I would just say it just depends on the person. Battery-wise, would it be nice to have 6 hours? Of course. Would it be nice to have this be like my MacBook Pro, really long battery life? Yeah, but that's not what I'm coming for. I want to be able to grab one of my games, plug it in, have it look semi-decent, and play it. That's just me, though. I know a lot of people are different, and people are going to have varying different opinions on this. I like the option. If I can turbo it, just throw that TDP all the way up for certain games, I'm down to do that. If I can throttle it down and have much longer battery life, let's do that. And the Steam Deck can already do that. That's why I'm kind of weirded out by we have to choose one or the other. Why don't they just refresh it to the next APU and just allow people to choose their TDP and have a common set for us to be defaulted to when playing these games? Meaning, have recommended settings, or have the game companies have like probably want to set this at like a 15 TDP, or you want to make sure that you play most games around 15, 20, because else you're just going to kill your battery. Even at 15, it can kind of kill the battery, right? We've seen that with the Steam Deck. The APU they are using is also not the most efficient, meaning the die is a little larger. And I know that they mentioned in the interview that they want to wait for the die potentially or significant upgrades coming down the road, or improvements, I should say, battery tech, APU, and whatnot. And I think they'll see that. I definitely think the die is going to be smaller, which is going to be nice for both battery consumption and heat production. So I do think we're going to be seeing some pretty nice improvements with the Steam Deck 2. I just kind of wish there was a Steam Deck 1.5. Maybe we can agree there, Pierre. Maybe come out with a Steam Deck 1.5, call it that. It doesn't have to be Steam Deck 2. If you don't want to count the 2, we can halves it, and we can still have that performance increase. That's not how they didn't even mention Steam Deck 2 per se. They don't want to come out with another Steam Deck that is a performance upgrade. What they do want to come out with is potential upgrades for the screen and battery. And I will have to say, if that's the case, I personally would like to see 2 USB ports in there. I would like to see USB 4, but the APU they're using is not compatible. You could correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I believe it's not compatible with USB 4. So that APU, that architecture that's on there, doesn't work with USB 4. It's the next architecture up. So unless I'm wrong, I'd love to see that. I still would like to see 2 USB ports. Then a 1200p screen or an OLED. I think my preference is just to a really nice 1200p screen. I like OLED, but I like definition a little bit more. And with FSR 2, with upscaling, I personally think you get a huge benefit in how games look. Yes, the VRR in the ROG Ally does help with it not just being smoother, but it's also that resolution. If you look at games that use FSR with the ROG Ally and Steam Deck, the ROG Ally wins. The screen's better in every way possible, and I think Valve could at least utilize and mimic this screen if they're going to do just a refresh. I think they could also just shove in just a little bit bigger battery into that. There's a lot of space in the Steam Deck. I think if they reorganize some of the parts and they just change things up a little bit, then they could add probably 30, 40% bigger battery and everyone would be happy. Hopefully. If they're going to do that, though, why not just release a new Steam Deck 2? I don't know. I'm a little naive in this. I'm not a hardware developer. I don't work on this stuff every day. I just am here for the performance. No, I'm just here for the ride. Steam Deck is awesome. Now, my predictions are that the Deckard project's going to come out, which is going to probably be like a VR-esque device. Either it's going to be like a desktop, console-like device for your TV that maybe comes with a VR hookup, or it's going to be vice versa, or a module that will be able to hook into a VR headset. Or maybe it's AR. Maybe they're doing AR. That wouldn't be a bad play, actually. And I'm really curious to see where AR goes with all this. And at the end of the day, I do think we're going to see a refresh Steam Deck between now and 2026. It's a very long ways away. 2026 is, which is the latest it potentially could expect it. But we've had promises from Valve before. Haven't had those. So fulfilled, that is, like Half-Life 2, Episode 3 being one of them. That one hits close to home for me. At least we got Half-Life Alyx. Now, to just kind of wrap this up, no matter what, I think they're going to make the right decision for what their goals are. If their goal is to be console-like to compete with Nintendo, then they're probably going the right route of being the safest possible with the best support for games and knowing that the hardware doesn't change for years to come. These generations are longer like a console, albeit it doesn't feel very PC hardware-esque. It doesn't feel very PC gamer. It still is fine. We're going to have other options. ROG Ally. Other devices will come out in between then, and if you want more performance, you have other options. I'm actually very happy with that split. I do wish SteamOS was supported on more than one device, more than Steam Deck. Yes, you can play it on other devices, but I want to be supported. I want additional... I just want them to release it, and then we can push PRs, like AK. We can just help develop for other devices, SteamOS, so it works on a lot of other devices in a much better manner. Cooperation, collaboration, stuff like that. That's what I'd like to see. So, at the end of the day, what are you guys doing? You sticking with your Steam Deck for another couple of years? You going to be maybe eyeing over those ROG allies that are coming out over the next few years? Or, there's some pretty spicy stuff coming out now that we're about to see soon. And so we'll see how the Legion does. With that, I'm curious what you guys choose. I will also be having a poll. Keep an eye out for that, of what parts are most important to you in the Steam Deck and what you'd like to see maybe be the main focus for the next Steam Deck refresh. Not necessarily Steam Deck 2, but next Steam Deck. Thank you guys for watching. Check out all my other videos. Check out all the links down below. And once again, stay spicy. I don't know. Spice it up. Spice up your life. Need to have some Games Revealed spice for your daily life. Peace out, guys. Later!